What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. I've been loving everything that Hasbro's been doing, celebrating 60 years of the Avengers, from the comic book pages to the big screen, and of course, with Marvel Legends. I feel like they've been delivering what could be some of the best figures in the history of the line these last few months. We've gotten that Safari Jacket Wonder Man, finally, Mark I Iron Man, and then all this slews of 2-packs from Eric Masterson Thor versus the Destroyer, Black Knight and Cersei, Captain Marvel 2 Monica Rambeau versus Doctor Doom. So much great stuff. Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Lots of really good 2-packs, lots of good figures coming out. And it kind of made me think, man, the Avengers are such a key, integral part of the Marvel universe, and they're kind of missing a core part because back in the early days, the early decades of the Avengers, much like all those other teams we saw from Marvel Comics, where the Fantastic Four had the Frightful Four, the X-Men had the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, there was an opposite number for the Avengers, and that's today's focus of completing the crew, the Masters of Evil. Now, this team is so storied throughout the lore of the Avengers. So many teams, so many different versions, but I feel like there's 3-4 teams that really need to be completed. And Hasbro's made some headway. There's some figures for a lot of these rosters. Some cases, there's just one character that's missing to complete the team. So we're really close in some cases, even though I think the two most important versions have lots of work to do. So let's break it down and see how far Hasbro needs to go to complete the Masters of Evil. So first up is the original lineup. Now this one, Baron Zemo decided, I'm going to play fair. I'm going to match each Avenger with another villain that's going to be one of my teammates. So Captain America, Zemo's arch enemy, has Giant Man on his side. So Zemo decides to get Black Knight. Thor as well. So then I got to get Radioactive Man. And then for Iron Man, the Melter. Now, this is such a cool image from Art Adams, by the way. I love when he does these showcases of historic moments in the Marvel lore. And this is such a cool image, seeing Giant Man held up like he's a shrimp, and then the rest of the Avengers just trying to hold on. Really cool image. Anyway, got a little bit of work to do here because the only team member we have right now is Radioactive Man. And that's a really fun figure. I like the way that turned out. I'm not too bothered that this version of him that we have in Marvel Legends isn't quite the classic look seen in this original era of the Masters of Evil. Because he's just basically kind of running around without much of an outfit, just kind of a green dude with some trunks, but that's what he's working with. Black Knight, of course, needs his horse, but I'll fudge that some way as long as we get this version. And the Melter, of course, a classic look for a Marvel villain back in the early days. And then there's Baron Zemo. So we got a lot of work to do on this team, but they're so important. And it feels like Hasbro's really making an effort to knock out those early days. We're getting so many characters like that Mark I Iron Man. I assume we're going to see a Mark II anytime shortly. And then throughout the rest of this year, we're going to see some more. And whenever we get this HasLab, which I'm assuming is the one and only Giant Man. So then we move on to the next lineup. Not too many shakeups from the original, but Baron Zemo has some new allies with Scourge the Executioner and the Enchantress. And they've been kind of kicked out of Asgard and they want revenge on Thor. So what do they decide to do? Let's get Thor to beat up his teammates. Let's make him think the Avengers have turned on him. Iron Man, Captain America, Wasp, and Giant Man. They're bloodthirsty villains that he needs to take out. So they seize control, kind of manipulate Thor, and he fights them. But this shows Zemo that these Asgardians are a powerful pair to team up with, even though it's two of them and just one of me. But these two are so essential. So whichever way they want to do it, if we want to get that very first version of the team and get Zemo that way, or just release him with these guys, maybe in a 2-pack with Scourge. That way we could have a complete third or second version of the Masters of Evil. But these are really cool villains. And I did say complete this team, but I think I want to cheat because there's a sneaky way I can get the fourth member of this lineup, this team, and that's from doing the original costume Wonder Man. And I know compared to some of his other looks, it's a little bit garish, a little bit wild, the Christmas colors, but I love this costume. I just think it has so much flair. It has that classic hero look from the 60s. And I love the W there. I mean, why is he Wonder Man? He's a villain, but I just love the whole look. And we get him, we get Zemo, we get Executioner, who's being a super hater right now. The way she looks at him, she's never looked at me like that. Come on, bro, relax a bit. We get Wonder Man. We've already gotten the Safari Jacket one now. So, of course, I've got to move on to some more looks for Wonder Man that I want to see in figure form. This highlights and tops the list. So we can get this. We can have him fighting with alongside the rest of the Masters of Evil before he gets his change of heart and realize these guys are scum and terrible people. And I'm better off working with the Avengers all along. So that one, I'm going to use my all-encompassing wave one or initial surge of the team. So Baron, Heinrich Zemo, Meltzer, Black Knight original flavor, and Wonder Man. So we can get them, we can complete that original lineup of the Masters of Evil. So then we got to move on to the next version. And this one was kind of wild because there was a big twist with this one. But the Crimson Cowl decides I need to get my own team of Masters of Evil. And we don't have Crimson Cowl. I'm thinking, hoping that this would make for a really, really good tier figure for this assumed Giant Man set. But Crimson Cowl would be really cool. And that way you can do different things with him. You can give him the head sculpt of Jarvis, who's just brainwashing the thing and he's a bad guy. Or you could go with the leader of this Masters of Evil, the one and only Ultron. Spoilers to anyone who has not seen this. But his team follows pretty closely that I'm going to match hero for villain and villain for hero kind of setup. And we've got this team just about complete. So if you take a look here, we've got this roster just about done. We're going to need a Crimson Cowl, and we're going to need the Melter. So the Melter has been hanging tough with the Masters of Evil. He's a vet, long in the tooth member of this squad, so he needs to get a figure. But we've already got Claw. We've got Whirlwind. We've got Black Knight, and we've got Radioactive Man. So this all-new version of the Masters of Evil just needs 2 characters. So we need that Crimson Cowl, and I think with different head sculpts, this would be a good one to do 2 additional ones. So we get that mask one, then we get one with a Jarvis head screaming, looking mad, and then an Ultron head, or maybe just fit it so an Ultron head can fit on this body. That would work just fine for me too, but just 2 members to complete this team. And there's another fun squad because they've got a really cool setup here where it's like they're all together, but Black Knight is secretly working against them. He's trying to help the Avengers, and they've trapped the Wasp hanging in a bottle, a jar, the Claw's holding. Black Panther, that's why Claw is here. Giant Man, or I think this is still Hank as Giant Man and not Goliath, but I'm kind of back and forth on that. I think he might be Goliath here. And then Hawkeye. So we've got most of this Avengers team anyway. So we get this version of the MOE to fight them. Really cool and really fun to see in figure form. So hopefully we can get these. Again, really simple team to complete. Just Crimson Cowl and just the Melter. And the Melter has been hanging on for 2 lineups now. So he's overdue, if you will, in terms of getting completed for this lineup. And then next up, we've got Egghead's Masters of Evil, and another squad that's basically done. Just need a couple figures, or just 1 figure in this case. We just got that Egghead figure, so that's really exciting to have him so he can lead his own squad of MOEs. We got Whirlwind coming back for another round. Tiger Shark, a soon-to-be veteran member of the team as well. Scorpion, a Spider-Man villain traditionally, but he's joining the cause against the Avengers here. The one member of this team that is lacking is Moonstone. And Moonstone is another character who's going to be pretty central and important member of the Masters of Evil. So we can get her here. That would be really great and really awesome. Now, Egghead decided that lineup just wasn't cutting it. It wasn't strong enough to deal with the likes of Hawkeye, Captain America, Iron Man, She-Hulk, and Wasp. That's a pretty heavy hitter group of Avengers, so I see why he needed to power up a little bit more. So he decided to ditch some of the dead weight and get some new members to this squad. Now, whether or not they're an improvement, that's up for debate. But this second version of Egghead's Masters of Evil is also complete, save for Moonstone, because we've already got Radioactive Man. We've got Shocker, really great figure. We've got Beetle. Tiger Shark is here. And again, we just got Egghead. We still just need Moonstone to complete this lineup, which is wild because there's two versions of the Masters of Evil. They just need Moonstone to get completed. So hopefully she's soon and really imminent on Hasbro's radar because she's a great character. She's got several different looks that we need in figure form anyway, including her meteorite version for the Thunderbolt. So we need to start rolling, get some more members of her or versions of her, because we still need that Miss Marvel look for when she's a member of the Dark Avengers. Lots of different looks. Let's get Moonstone worked up to figure form ASAP. And then finally, it is the iconic version of the Masters of Evil, the ones that did what no other version, no other incarnation did as succinctly, as magnificently, as spectacular as this version from Baron Zemo's son, Baron Helmut Zemo. And he decides, I'm not playing fair. That's stupid. I don't understand why the rest of you guys are going villain for hero. I'm not doing a one-for-one thing. I'm simply going to overwhelm and overpower these Avengers. And so he decides, I'm getting a whole huge crew. And this isn't even the entire lineup, which is crazy. So we got the Fixer here. We've got Mr. Hyde. We've got Bolt, the Wrecker, Power Man 2 / Goliath. I mean, this guy's ripping off every alias he can. Moonstone yet again. Titania, Absorbing Man, Power Driver, Bulldozer, Thunderball, the rest of the Wrecking Crew, Yellow Jacket 2, a whole squad of usurpers of different aliases of the Avengers. And then Tiger Shark back again. Now that's not all this team because there are a few more members that didn't even make this picture. Got Black Mamba. We've got the Gray Gargoyle. We actually have in figure form. Screaming Mimi. So lots of members for this team still left to get from Hasbro. And I'm really hoping that they'll focus on this squad because I think this lineup is awesome. But as you see, there's so many left to this team that we really need done in figure form. So again, Moonstone, desperately need her because she completes 3 different lineups of the Masters of Evil. Then we get Power Man 2. Hopefully this is where they can start using a giant, larger scale buck because with him, you can do a Goliath figure and just change up, lose the antenna piece or just have it gone anyway, change the goggles and you're all set. Then we've got Bulldozer, Wrecker, Thunderball, Power Driver who need better versions because the old ones are not good. And speaking of new versions that we need more of a comic book version of Mr. Hyde as well because the one we got just isn't as wild and unhinged as I really wanted. We need a second Yellow Jacket. We need Bolt as well. So this team needs a lot of work, but we need it so we can have this big victory shot where Zemo's like, hey, look, we finally won this thing. And we've got this crew here and we've got a really amazing Baron Zemo figure. And, you know, Tiger Shark is really good too, but I mean, the rest of this crew is missing. And that lineup is the one that beat the Avengers. And you're going to get any team, if you're going to get any lineup of the Masters of Evil, you should probably get the ones that took them out. And again, Hasbro has done some work so you can kind of fudge it and act like, oh yeah, we've got this team all done. We've knocked out this squad of the Masters of Evil. But to me, I'm going to show you this look here, what these guys look like together, because the scale is so wonky, so out of scale, and don't really play well with each other. I'm going to show you how this looks, and it's not quite what I want to see from my Masters of Evil. And so here we go. Here's a look at what the Masters of Evil look like right now from what Hasbro's delivered. You can see the Wrecking Crew beyond not being a scale. We got Power Driver, Bulldozer, who's not at all in his classic look. Power Driver and Thunderbolt are. Tiger Shark's good. He's big, but his size is fine. Gray Gargoyle being taller than Zemo is fine as well. But then we got this version of Mr. Hyde. It's just like, what's up with the boiler hat? We got Absorbing Man, who's also tall. So it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Way too tall, super big giants where we just need some regular sized characters as they should just be slightly taller than Baron Zemo. So that's it. Like I said, there's a lot of work for Hasbro to do to knock out the Masters of Evil, at least these first 4 lineups. So to recap, to review who all is still missing from this team, let's break it down one more time. We've got the Melter. We got the original Baron Zemo. and then more of a classic skewing Black Knight. And if you wanted to, you just do two packs, put Zemo, Melter, Black Knight, and a more traditional old school version of Radioactive Man. Not going to complain about that at all. Then let's go over to the second iteration of Volume 1 of the MOE. We add Executioner, we add Baron Zemo again. And if you guys wanted a different version of Enchantress, but the one we have is fine enough for me. So that lineup is good. That's fine if we get them. Then we need for the second version of the team, or a third one, depending on which way you want to skew with that, we get Crimson Cow. I can't forget Wonder Man either in his original outfit, but I'm fudging that, so we don't have to get him in this lineup. We can get him on his own or another 2-pack. But we need Crimson Cow for sure. And then Melter in his different attire, because we got this classic look and then we get this version. So we got some looks for Melter that we need to start knocking out as well. Then we can move on to Moonstone, another really important character. And then we need to get more of Baron Zemo II, his squad. So many still left. Yellow Jacket, Goliath, Yellow Jacket, Bolt, the rest of the Wrecking Crew, Mr. Hyde, the whole deal. So we can have a happy day with Baron Zemo and his Masters of Evil. So that's it. Let me know which ones of the Masters of Evil you want to see first. Is it Moonstone? Is it Excursion? Executioner? Baron Zemo? The original flavor? So many left to do. So let me know what you think about this and which ones would you want to see Hasbro do to complete the Masters of Evil. As always, thank you so much for watching. This episode of Loud's Figure Files has been filed.